Thomas sat on his wooden crate, the damp chill of the evening wrapping around him like a familiar old cloak. The fog clung to the air, softening the sharp edges of the city and casting Tower Bridge in an ethereal light. He had spent decades fishing along the banks of the River Thames, his well-worn hands expertly handling the line as if it were an extension of himself. Beside him, the gentle lapping of the water provided a soothing soundtrack to his thoughts. In the twilight, whispers of the past danced around him, memories of his father teaching him the art of fishing, of laughter shared amidst the splashes of water, and of the strange creatures that had crossed his nets over the years. There was a comfort in the routine, but tonight felt different, an electric anticipation hanging in the air. The river, ever-changing yet constant, promised secrets waiting to be unveiled. Thomas settled onto his wooden crate, the familiar creaks of the old timber echoing like memories rising from the depths. His thoughts drifted back to sun-drenched days of his youth, spent by the river's edge, his father's strong hands guiding his own. He could almost hear the gentle cadence of his father's voice, steady and reassuring, weaving tales of life below the surface. "Patience, Thomas," he would say, as he taught him the art of waiting for the right moment to cast a line. With every ripple in the water, he remembered the joy of their shared laughter, the thrill of reeling in a hearty catch. His father had been a master storyteller, transforming even the smallest fish into grand adventures. Those cherished moments anchored Thomas's heart, binding him to the river's pulse, its mysteries embedded in the very fabric of their bond. The whispers around him felt like echoes of those sweet days, stirring something deep within as he prepared for the evening's labor. As Thomas settled into the comforting rhythm of his evening routine, he let his thoughts drift to the peculiar creatures that had graced his nets over the years. The Thames, ever voluble and changing, felt like an old friend, revealing its personality through each catch. He recalled the shimmering silver of a salmon, the vibrant colors of a perch, and even the tales whispered by catfish that seemed to hold secrets of their own. Each encounter was a thread woven into the fabric of his life, a reflection of his growth and the city's ebb and flow. Tonight, however, the river felt different, not just a body of water, but a living entity infused with stories and memories, echoing with laughter and longing. With every subtle ripple, Thomas sensed an undercurrent of history, a timeless bond connecting him not just to the river, but to those who had come before him. It was this connection that opened his heart to the strange whispers that soon would beckon him into the depths of the unknown. As the fog thickened around him, wrapping the world in a silvery embrace, Thomas felt a shift in the air, one that prickled at the back of his neck. The gentle lapping of the Thames against the shore seemed to alter, the murmur of the water evolving into distinct whispers. Intrigued, yet unnerved, he leaned closer, straining to catch the elusive words arising from the depths of the river. "In forgotten realm, lost treasures dwell," they beckoned, echoing tales of sailors long submerged beneath the waves and adventures that awaited. Thomas closed his eyes, allowing the cool mist to envelop him as he succumbed to the rhythm of the whispers, each syllable weaving through his being. The familiar sounds of London faded, replaced by an ancient melody, a siren song that ignited a yearning within him to unravel the secrets hidden within the murky depths. With curiosity igniting his spirit, he cast his line once more, the pull of mystery growing stronger than ever. As Thomas cast his line, the familiar rhythm of his evening routine was interrupted by an unusual sensation, a tug unlike any he had felt before. It was a pull, powerful and insistent, as if the river itself were reaching up to him, urging him to engage rather than simply observe. Heart racing, he tightened his grip on the rod, his breath catching in his throat. This line felt alive, resonating with echoes of an ancient song he couldn't quite grasp. The fog swirled around him, thickening the air with anticipation. For years he had faced the gentle whims of the Thames, but tonight felt different, charged with a mystique that sent shivers down his spine. The whispers, faint but persistent, danced upon the edges of his awareness, whispering promises of secrets intertwined with the river's depths. With every moment that passed, he felt a magnetic draw to whatever lay beneath the surface, beckoning him to unearth the enigma of the water's depths. A sudden jolt interrupted Thomas's reverie, pulling him back to the here and now. His fishing line felt alive, resisting his tug with a force he had never experienced. Heart racing, he steadied his grip, a mix of wonder and apprehension washing over him. What lay beneath the surface? As he strained against the unseen weight, the whispers from the depths intensified, urging him on, a siren call from the watery abyss. With a final determined pull, he drew the line up from the Thames. Breaking through the water's surface was not the silvery flash of a fish, but an ancient, rusted key, glimmering oddly in the fading light. Its intricate designs hinted at secrets long buried, stories lost to time. Confusion flickered within Thomas, yet the voices of the river grew louder, beckoning him to seek out the door it would unlock, a tangible connection to mysteries waiting just beyond reach. Driven by a mixture of curiosity and an almost magnetic pull, Thomas rose from his crate, casting a final glance at the shimmering surface of the Thames. The whispers grew louder, weaving through the fog like tendrils of smoke, inviting him to follow. As he stepped away from the familiar comfort of his fishing spot, the cacophony of the bustling city faded into nothingness, replaced by a serene symphony of nature. The mist wrapped around him, cloaking the world in a dreamlike haze, where the sounds of the river became amplified and alive. Each step felt significant, as if he were walking not just along the riverbank, but through the pages of history itself. Ancient stones, weathered by time, peeked out from beneath the tangled roots of trees, and the silhouette of Tower Bridge loomed behind him, a silent guardian to the stories awaiting discovery. With every echo of the whispers, he sensed that tonight held more than fishing. It promised a journey into the very heart of the Thames. Thomas wandered along the riverside, the whispers guiding him like an unseen hand. Each step he took seemed to reverberate with the heartbeat of the Thames, as if the water itself were alive with history. He passed a crumbling stone pillar, remnants of a long-forgotten wharf, and felt a shiver run down his spine. This was a place where sailors once shared tales of adventure, laughter echoing off the brick facades that now lay silent. Glimmers of the past unfurled before his eyes, the vibrant markets bustling with life, the ships laden with goods, and the specters of men who had braved the unyielding waters. He paused, entranced, as the echoes of their stories wrapped around him like a mist. Each landmark carried the weight of memory, as if the river itself whispered of its own journey. In that moment, Thomas began to comprehend that he was part of something far greater than his solitary fishing. The river held a legacy, and he was destined to explore its depths. The whispers grew clearer, like a gentle breeze stirring the surface of the river. Thomas felt an inexplicable pull, each hushed voice weaving tales of lost sailors navigating the fog-laden Thames, their dreams and regrets entwined with the currents. The river, now alive with history, seemed to pulse beneath his feet, a rhythmic heartbeat, echoing the lives once lived along its banks. He lowered his gaze into the water, imagining the silhouettes of ships long sunk and men whose laughter had been swallowed by the waves. The tales spoke of treasures, not just gold or jewels, but the memories of those who had cast their nets under the same bridge. Thomas found comfort in knowing he was part of this grand tapestry, each thread a connection linking him to the past. In that moment, he felt the weight of responsibility. He was not just a fisherman anymore. He was becoming a vessel of stories, carrying the essence of the river into the future. As Thomas wandered along the riverbank, the whispers grew stronger, wrapping around him like the mist curling through the air. He noticed an odd structure partially obscured by overgrown foliage, a stone archway, weathered by time, hinting at a forgotten entrance to a world beneath the Thames. The key in his hand felt heavier, pulsing with energy as if urging him closer. With trembling fingers, he brushed away the leaves, revealing intricate carvings etched into the stone. Sailboats, fish, and swirling waters telling tales of a bygone era. The air around him felt electric, charged with the stories of those who had passed through this door. Thomas realized this was where the river's secrets lay hidden, waiting for someone to unlock them. Heart racing, he positioned the rusted key toward the ancient lock embedded in the archway. As he turned it slowly, a deep rumble echoed through the ground, resonating with the rhythm of the river, promising to unveil the secrets held within. With trembling hands, Thomas inserted the ancient key into the rusted lock of the hidden door. A deep creak echoed through the stillness as the door swung open, revealing a dark tunnel that seemed to pulse with memories. As he stepped inside, the air felt charged, electric with the weight of untold stories. Suddenly, shimmering images began to materialize around him. Vivid scenes of bustling market stalls along the riverside, children laughing and playing, and sailors preparing their boats for the next tide. He watched as a young fisherman, similar to himself, waved goodbye to his family, setting off on a journey uncertain yet hopeful. Each moment unfolded like a page from a forgotten book, immersing Thomas in the lives of those who had come before him. The whispers grew louder, entwining his soul with the river's legacy, urging him to embrace the role of its storyteller. As Thomas stood before the hidden door, a shiver of anticipation coursed through him. With a deep breath, he inserted the ancient key into the lock, feeling it click into place, and pushed the door open. A swirl of mist enveloped him, and suddenly he was no longer by the riverbank. Shadows danced before him, the form of sailors and fishermen emerging from the haze, their faces etched with stories of longing and adventure. "Do you hear us?" one spirit cried, his voice a haunting echo of the past. Thomas nodded, captivated as each figure began to share their tale. Stories of storms weathered, treasures unearthed, and sacrifices made on the river's edge. They recounted laughter shared on sunlit days and the sorrow of journeys ended too soon. As their voices intertwined, Thomas felt their histories intertwine with his own, binding him to the very essence of the Thames and its legacy. As dawn's first light began to break over the horizon, casting a soft glow on the waters of the Thames, Thomas felt a profound shift within himself. In those fleeting moments, the faces of long-forgotten sailors and fishermen danced in his mind, their stories echoing through time. He understood now that he was not merely a fisherman. He had become the keeper of their tales, entrusted with a legacy woven into the fabric of the river. The whispers had served a purpose, guiding him toward this revelation, a connection to something greater than himself. With the sights and sounds of the waking city around him, Thomas returned to his familiar crate, a smile illuminating his weathered face. He grasped the ancient key tightly, feeling the weight of its significance. In that instant, he resolved to share the whispers with those who paused to listen, ensuring that the river's memories would ripple out beyond the shadows of the past.